Hello and welcome to DnT Technology Reviews. Today we're going to be looking at the AMD Radeon HD 6970 GB WindForce Edition. And let's have a look at the features. This card is extremely fast. These 6970s, it's pretty much top of the line currently, even though it's a generation behind. It ranks up there with the 7870, 7970. It ranks up there. It's not as fast, but I mean, this is definitely the best in the 6000 series, except for the 6990, obviously.
And that's just two 6970s.
Right, that's just two 6970s. So this card, would you say best bang for your buck, pretty much?
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. But, I mean, you can't go wrong with this card. It's just very powerful, and I would do a NVIDIA versus AMD thing here, but I'm not going to because
Neither of us own one.
neither of us own one, so I'm not going to compare it to a 580 because it's just not fair.
Yeah.
Anyway, the back port has two DVI slots. Yeah, go ahead and get a good view of that. It has two DVI slots, an HDMI, and a display port. This card does support iFinity, which is 3 monitors, but I noticed one con about that. I tried having iFinity set up with the 2 display ports and the HDMI, and it actually doesn't work to have 3 monitors that way. To do that, you have to have the 2 DVI and the display port, which not a lot of things use display port, so what I'm going to have to do is find maybe an HDMI to display port adapter, so maybe I can do the
Yeah, that's one of the
iFinity.
problems with DisplayPort is there's not very many monitors that actually utilize it, and adapters for DisplayPort to HDMI will run you about 50 or 60 bucks a piece.
Right. This card has a blue PC board. This is the part that will be facing up, so it's actually pretty nice to look at once it's in there. As far as cooling goes, if you'll notice, I don't know if you could see it, but on these 2 fans under it, the slants in the heatsink go vertical, but in this far one they go horizontal. So this is like a separate heatsink pretty much. It's completely detached from this one, but it's hooked up with a heat pipe on top over here.
Alright, so we've put the 6970 in, and as you can see you've got about 5 inches of clearance right there, would you say?
Yeah, well,
Okay, not 5 inches.
not
like
5 inches,
4.
more. I would say 3.
Really?
Yeah, it's a big card. I think it's 11.5 inches,
Yeah.
if not annotation.
This is a Inman Dragon Rider case. You've probably seen it in a few of our other videos. It's pretty big, and as long as you have a full tower case, your card's pretty much gonna fit.
And most mid towers.
Yeah,
I know your brother's
mid-tower.
is a mid tower.
Yeah, and he's got 3 6970s.
He has
in it.
3 6970s, and it fits fine in that. So that isn't really a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the technical specs. So we have GPU-Z open, and these are the technical specifications of it. Its GPU clock is 900 megahertz. Everything's entirely stock right now. Fan speeds, everything. It's totally stock. The bandwidth on it is really high, at 176 gigabytes a second. I really like that. That really helps with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's take a look at the temperature real quick. I mean, 6970s are all going to perform about the same like this, but this is mainly for cooling.
That's what makes this card special.
That's what makes this card so special. This is entirely idle. I mean, there's 1% load at times, but it's the GPU temperatures. 43, 37, 38, pretty consistent. I mean, that's not bad at all, just running there idle. What does your 6870 get?
Since I modded my case a bit, it now sits around 45, 50.
45, 50. So this actually runs really cool. Yeah, we'll cut it. Alright, so here we are. We're opening 3D Mark 05 right now. We're still using 3D Mark 05 because it's still a good benchmark. We're also going to be running 3D Mark 11.
Another reason we run 05 is because we know people with computers aren't always going to be running the newest games. Sometimes you're going to want to play older stuff because that's part of why you build a computer.
Right.
So we have a AMD Phenom 2 965 at 4.4 gigahertz, so there's not going to be any bottlenecks or anything.
No.
This will be your 6970 benchmark.
And here we go. So we have finished 3D Mark 05. We got 30,872 3D marks. Let's go ahead and scroll down to the GPU score.
That is the GPU score.
That is the GPU score?
Yeah.
Oh.
My CPU also got much higher than usual.
Yeah, CPU got pretty high. Oh. I thought that it like combined the GPUs.
No.
Oh well, you always do the benchmarking, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, it got, what was it again?
3872.
3872?
Yeah. No, 3872.
30,872.
Yes.
Yes. So that's very good. Very good.
Alright, so next up is going to be 3D Mark 11, and we'll see how that goes.
Alright, so here we are about to run 3D Mark 11 for your benchmarking pleasure.
Using the same setup as before.
Exact same setup as before, nothing changed, just different program. Please wait. We'll just cut this part for you. You know it's about to run. So we just finished 3D Mark 11 and got a P score of 5574, which is pretty good. Yeah. Same settings as before, so that's the score.
On most of these tests, it was averaging between 20 and 30 frames per second, minus the CPU tests, but
right.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. So overall, pros and cons of this card. It's fantastic stock air cooling. It runs really cool compared to a lot of the other stock air coolers and everything. It definitely beats all the reference design cards.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's the best, but it might be. I haven't really looked into that very much. We just had an annotation like right there or something. It runs really cool. It's extremely fast. It's one of the best out there. And it supports quad fire. I like that about it.
And it actually, the 6000 series actually has pretty good scaling.
It's really good scaling. What is it, like 80 something
%? It's like 70 or 80% for crossfire, and then 50 or 60 for tri-fire, and then I think 40 or 50 for quad.
Yeah, so it's really good. That's a heck of an improvement over previous generations.
Yeah.
A few cons about it is that PC board is not a reference design. It's a custom one. So there are no full coverage water blocks for it if you plan on water cooling. So what you'll have to do if you want to water cool it is just get a universal GPU block, but that doesn't usually cool as well as the full coverage blocks.
Yeah, also if you do that, you'll want to buy some stick-on heat sinks for your VRAM.
Right, so the VRAM can get pretty hot. It doesn't get extremely hot, but it can get pretty hot. It uses quite a bit of power. Somebody on Tom's Hardware measured the power usage and everything, and they said that it uses around 207 watts, which is quite a bit of power. So you're going to need a beefy power supply with this.
Especially in crossfire.
Yeah, especially in crossfire or tri-fire or quad fire, whatever you want to do with it. We have enough with this 650 watt just for one. But if you're going to run more than one, you're definitely going to need a beefy power supply. When with quad fire, possibly more than one. So overall, bottom line, I would definitely recommend this card if you're planning on just doing air cooling. You know, no extra work, just plug it in, use it. If that's what you're planning on doing, go ahead and get this card. It's really good. But for water cooling, go for a reference design. So thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, the works, and stay tuned for our next review.